we're joined now by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Oba Maduabuchi. Good to see you, and thanks for your time. It looks like some kind of precedent is about to be set. You know, we've discussed this because this is the first time we're getting to see a state legislature go into such a dilemma. And now they have come up to say, even though we're not in court, this judgment, the victory of the governor, also translates to their own victory.
Well, thanks, Suleiman. You see, the law is such an interesting thing. The judgment of any court stands valid and must be obeyed and is extant until a higher court sets it aside. A judgment of a court is never set aside by implication. There must be a pronouncement by a higher court. In this case, it ought to be the Court of Appeal, which says that judgment that removed the members is wrong. It is hereby set aside. If you don't hear that, my friend, that judgment stands.
So you cannot infer,
no, you don't
infer. Based on the judgment, whether it's at the level of the appeal court or even the Supreme Court. What chance do they have, this, members? I mean, can they seek redress? Where would that be? Because, I mean, you'd say the Supreme Court is a final, the final arbiter.
Yes, what they should do, I don't know why I like working on television. Because somebody will now earn the money
and run along with it.
Understandable.
All they need to do is to bring an application for the Court of Appeal to review its judgment based on the Supreme Court holding.
Right.
That is the only, it's very, very simple thing.
Not to say they will resume.
No, you cannot, that is lawlessness.
Right.
That is lawlessness.
Yes. How can you say, okay, you are wrong? When Ojikalo and one other person were convicted, one of them went on appeal. Oji didn't go on appeal. One of them went on appeal, and the Supreme Court said, my friend, Godwin Kolawole, Justice Kolawole, you shouldn't have come from Court of Appeal to come and try these people. And the man was discharged. Ojikalo never left the prison. His lawyers had to go and apply to the Court of Appeal to say, look, in view of what the Supreme Court has said, I cannot be in prison. And they said, yes, go home. He didn't walk out of prison.
Right.
You don't do that.
Looking at it from the basis of those who have benefited from the court ruling, who are sitting now, can they resign, since there's a big question mark on the legitimacy of their seats?
No, there's no. The judgment of the Court of Appeal was never before the Supreme Court. Right. It never came before the Supreme Court. The judgment that we have is a court of record, a superior court of record, and it has said you people were wrongly elected. That remains the law. Don't be surprised if another Supreme Court says, we were wrong, good. The Court of Appeal was right. So as it says today, the people are the legitimate people to sit in the Plateau State House of Assembly.
These PDP members.
Yes, I don't know whether they're PDP or APC. I don't know.
They are
the ones.
The PDP members were removed on the basis of the law.
Yes, the one that were removed cannot sit.
So when you say, well, they shouldn't work on inference, which is quite an interesting one now, because they're already working using logic and inference to act upon something that is the law. If they go there tomorrow, as they have said,
they should be arrested. They should immediately be arrested, because that's conduct likely to cause a breach of the peace. They cannot enter the hallowed chamber of the House of Assembly. They're supposed to be lawmakers, and the first person that should obey the law are lawmakers. The judge says you are not validly elected, and another person is said to have been validly elected. Then you turn around and say, because John has been said to be validly elected,
so
I have set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal, and restored the judgment in my mind.
You know, we've been seeing some kind of, it looks like back and forth for the non-judicial mind. Let's quickly look at what's happening in Rivers, if we can just look at that again.
Yeah.
The Rivers example is something that is almost a big shock to a lot of people. Nullifying the budget, which, because at that point in time, many had thought that that was the legally constituted House of Assembly, irrespective of the number.
You see, I'm on world television, so I have to be very careful. But these things evoke a lot of emotions from some of us who have spent over 40 years as lawyers. Now we have gone to the apogee. I can't be any other thing. I don't know what else you can make me as a lawyer, apart from being a senior advocate of Nigeria. Some of us view it very seriously when certain things happen in the judiciary. The Federal High Court is a court of limited jurisdiction. The Federal High Court is a court of enumerated jurisdiction. In that Section 251 specifically writes out what it can do. You will not find anything about state in Section 251. Nothing about state.
Well, what exactly does that section say?
It says the Federal High Court, to the exclusion of any other court, shall have jurisdiction to do aviation, issues like
federal,
that.
just as
federal,
it says.
anything federal.
Yeah, nothing
Now,
to do with the
yes,
state.
there are two things that control the jurisdiction of a Federal High Court. Two things. One is the parties. One of them, at least, must be an agency of the federal government or the federal government itself.
Right.
One. The secondly, the subject matter must fall within Section 251. And when it falls under Section 251, it must be a challenge on the validity of either an executive or administrative act of that agency or the federal government. Your constitution is there, opening.
So, in other words, what you're saying is that the Federal High Court that ruled in Abuja is not
has no business whatsoever.
Is it an interference on the part of the judiciary in the executive? But this is even at the state level. So it
has nothing to do with the budget Fubara took to State House of Assembly. What has federal government got to do with that?
What do you think is playing out then? Why this?
You want me to say it on it?
Please go ahead.
I won't.
Maybe we'll
I will not.
learn something.
I will not.
Okay,
so it's unfortunate.
So with such, it can be appealed.
Yes, I'm sure they'll go on appeal now. And this is the kind of appeal which ordinarily shouldn't last a week.
Is that an attempt to actually emasculate the governor, Sim Fubara? Is that what is going on? Because apart from the prayers, you know, I mean, the Federal High Court, you know, setting aside the 800 billion Naira budget put in place by the governor, there are quite a number of you know, prayers granted here. You know that the first plaintiff is entitled to funds or amounts standing to the credit of Rivers Assembly in the state's consolidated revenue fund, including salaries and emolument. The judge also granted the order restraining the governor from continuing the demolition or construction of the Rivers State building. Well, Omotosh also ordered the IG of police to immediately give adequate security to the speaker and legislators loyal to Wike, and so on and so forth.
I was actually waiting for him. When is the Fubara shot? You didn't land on that. You said Fubara shot himself.
Is it being emasculated?
Yes. You see, when Fubara went for that meeting, that was when he lost it. You shouldn't have signed that thing.
The meeting with
the president, yes. But maybe he does not know which way his Supreme Court judgment will go. Apparently, it might just be that he wants to tread cautiously. I have to be cautious here in order for the things to just play out. You know, But he shouldn't, the governor shouldn't have signed that thing. When the members of the House had decamped and they had been removed by order of court, that was the end. That was the end. The governor had already given them where the House of Assembly had been demolished. They were given where to be meeting, and that is all.
But the River State High Court judgment recognizing the other group has still not been. Yes, Amewule has still not been vacated.
Yes, it's not been vacated.
Regardless of the fact that here is no longer.
That's Edison.
Yeah.
Yes, Edison resigned after that agreement. He did not resign before the agreement.
So since it hasn't been vacated before they brought the budget before Edison a year, that automatically makes it null and void.
Yeah, but if there was a judgment of any court, whether rightly or wrongly, I must emphasize that, whether it is right or wrong, but there is a judgment, it must be obeyed. I know that River State High Court had said that the 4 members of the House were the proper House. They had said so. And that is the extant law. Until you set aside that law, that's why we say the man shot himself in the foot. Because he had nothing to fear again. Nobody could impeach him.
So as it stands now, you think his fears are back?
Yeah, no, as it stands today,
yes.
If you present that budget or any bill to the River State House of Assembly today, and it is presided over by Amewule, you wasted your time.
Wow.
Because Amewule has resigned, and the constitution is clear. Once you resign, you lose your seat.
Right.
Once you resign, once you are not resign, once you decamp, once you decamp, you lose your seat.
So irrespective of that agreement that has brought them back, is still immaterial because you are saying there was a truncation at a point in time. They left.
To a constitutional provision, there can be no agreement. The dictates of the constitution are sacrosanct.
Right.
If you change party, you lose your seat.
Lose your seat.
Simple. That's you can't go elsewhere.
Okay, so Justice Omotosho made a fundamental statement. Says the court is against any plan to jeopardize democracy. A governor should not exceed his power.
But the court has just exceeded its powers. A court has just exceeded its powers. What has a federal high court got to do with a state House of Assembly? Whether you demolish it, whether there are members, whether there are not members, what has federal high court, for goodness sake, have to do with whether bulldozers are breaking down House of Assembly?
Or not.
Or not.
So what does this do to our democracy?
It does not do anything to our democracy. It does a lot to our judiciary.
Right.
It is a judiciary. Because we know the law. It is so simple, so straight. It is not something, it's not open to conjecture. You don't need to go to law school to know that the Constitution stops any court, any federal high court, from venturing into a state affair. How can you say all their money is due to them? What gives you the power?
Senior Advocate of Nigeria, you still refuse to tell us exactly what may have played out to make the court.
I was not there. Because I wasn't there, Suleiman. Or did you see me there?
We'll have to say thank you very much.
I'm his counsel now. So you have to excuse him.
Thank you so much. Oba Maduabuchi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Always a delight speaking with you.
It's always a pleasure.
On Newsnight.
It's always a pleasure.